Hello everyone, Grey Gamer here. Welcome to part 3 of 3 of the PlayStation tear down, clean out and rebuild of a PlayStation 1. Hope you enjoy watching. Thanks for joining me. So I've got all the parts laid out here. I've also got the controller stripped down. It's soaking just now, so that'll be part of a different YouTube series. But for now we're going to go on with the rebuild of the PlayStation 1. I'm going to start with the base just because it takes up the most room in terms of the components lying about. So we start that off with the little foil metal base plate. Now as you do this, there is a little pin, if I can get it into the shot, here and here, and you want to be lining that up to go in to those bits there. Okay, and that'll give you your working area. I'm going to pop that back down. Next part I want to be getting is the main board. And pop that in. Again, the pins go through that. Here and here. Here and here. The next thing you want to do is be getting a couple of screws. So it's 2 of your screws. One goes in here. There's a little arrow that's pointing to tell you. And another one in here. There's another little arrow. There's no other arrows in the whole board, which means that the part that goes on top of this, they have the arrows in it to tell you that that's where it's to go. So each step of this is really guided by what's on the next part you put on top, because if a screw is supposed to go in, then there'll be an arrow just like this one in or on the part that the screw is supposed to go into. So I'm just going to go and do that just now. Here we go. That's one in. Not quite one in. One on to go in. And the other one to go in. Just going to screw them in now. I'm not left-handed, but whenever I use my right hand it cuts out the shot. So I thought if I try to use my left hand as much as possible, you'll be able to see more of what I'm doing. The next part that I want to be putting on is this little bit here. So that's the bit that sits under the controller connections. It's just going to sit in here. So again, there's 2 little metal pegs that hold that in place, here and here. Like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the cover for the board on. There we go, the screws aren't in it, so that's why it's not quite secured down. But like I was saying, with those little arrows, there's one here, tells us screws to go in here. There's one here, tells us screws to go here. And on this side, we've got one here, that tells us screws to go there. And here, I don't know if I mentioned that one. Here. We're going to get those 4 screws in now. One. Going to need to use my right hand. Can't even use my hand for that one. Just put it in the screwdriver. There we have it. 1, 2, 3 and 4. On it. Next part I want to do is the power part. That just basically pops in. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of repositioning. And again, we've got the 2 screws which will go in here and here. There's little arrows inside pointing to them. We're going to get them in now. 1. 2. Next part is our controller mount, our controller ports. So again, it just pops in, there's little pegs to hold them in place. Just here and here. And then, as you can guess, we've got screws going in next. Now, the whole point in this video was to make the PlayStation smell nice and fresh and get it all cleaned up. I've managed to do that. It does smell an awful lot better. Now it smells of nothing. It doesn't smell of what it came in smelling of. I've still got gloves on. The reason I've still got the gloves on is to allow me a little bit more grip with the screws and the screwdriver. It just seems to help me out. That's us finished putting the base parts all together. Now we've got the ribbons and things to do, which also can be quite footery, and also the disk drive. So what we're going to do is pop the power, connect up the power section to the main board with this. So that just pops in basically here, and it's just a straight plug in, just in that part. Then this bit comes up, goes straight into the top there. Now, this plastic part that can be quite tricky to get out, that's the next part that goes in. So there's a little square part here that this part here has to close into. Right, so we're going to try and get that to close into that. The weights should be on this side, it shouldn't be beyond the square. So the tightest part to the rest of the L, the corner of the L here, has to have the weights in it. This bit here is the part that houses where the wires should run freely. Do they go in there? No, that was too easy. All that bending and lifting has really made a difference. So that's that in. It's not coming out. And it just helps to guide them into place. Next part is a controller ribbon. So that goes in just here and in between the 2 controllers here. The pointy inny part, so that's kind of like a 7 shape when it's on the side, goes in here. And this part here, make sure it's in shot. Goes in there. Then with the ribbon, just turn it and put it in there. Okay, so again, the weighted part is closest to the bottom of the L. Okay, now the optical drive. So here it is here, 2 ribbons on it, and we're going to pop that down. We've got 1, 2, 3 holes, and it's just a case of lining them up with the 3 metal pegs. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. 1, 2. Just make sure that your ribbon doesn't get caught underneath. There we go. In. The drive's in place, but the ribbons aren't in, so I'm just going to get them set up just now. And you just hear a gentle click once you get it into place. It doesn't take much force to get it in. And that's us, we've got them all in. Now we can move on to the top section of it. So I'm just going to cut here, move this over to the side and bring all the plastic parts in. So here we go, we've got the top of the case here, and the top of the console here with the round disc part here. First thing you want to do is pop that onto the underside, line it up, and because you've got little prongs that stick out here, it can be a little bit tricky, so maybe that's the part you want to get in first. Put it in at a slight angle, just trying to get the right angle on it. There we go, sorted. Put that down, upside down. Now the next part that you've got to get in is the gear. The gear will sit in like that, with the black bit closest to where the controller ports are. But we also need the spring that's got an arm on it. So this spring with the arm will go over this, and the bend, the shorter arm of it, it will go over like this. The shorter arm of the spring goes over the peg in a way that it catches on this mini peg that's on it. This part here, the long arm, has to go in to this section here, and I'd say this is probably the most footery part of the whole rebuild. Now as soon as you've got that in, you can see it's trying to resist and kick back out. So what you need to do, get them aligned and pop a wee screw in there immediately. Once you've got your screw in, you should be okay to obviously let go of the tension that you've got yourself. You can see just now it will want to open up. And you can see just in here, and hopefully you can see just in here, that's where the long arm of the spring is. Okay, to secure this, we need the opposite end. I'll turn it the other way around so it'll be closer to you. And that is just a small plastic, 3 holes at the top and 1 hole in here. That just clips in to this. So again, it's just getting your angle right. Popping it in. And sometimes it helps, like just to lift the top of the console case up and allow the disc cover to open up slightly. And again, like in this side, you just want to pop your screw in as soon as that's done, just to secure that in. And as soon as that's in, pop it over. Just make sure that your upper, your disc cover is opening and closing smoothly. And mine is, so that's good. The next thing I'm going to do is pop in the reset button. Just make sure it's facing in the right direction. And then the power button. The power button comes with a spring. So you just pop that on. That goes just below your reset button. As if you can remember, on the original, on the base of the console, which is just here, this is where your power side is, so your power buttons are going to be on the top left hand side of this. Just helps to keep your mind clear. But if in doubt, turn it over, and your footery part with the spring belongs on your eject. Okay, because that's got to catch the top of the case. So quite simply, goes in here. Sorry. So you want to pop in your eject button. Next, turn over again and pop in your mount for this part. So once you put your button in, this I find quite difficult to work out where it went exactly, but this little angle here has to clip on to the disc cover so it knows when to release. So when you close over the disc cover, you can see that there's a little part here that catches and releases. So this part here has to go in and catch that part. And once you've lined that up, the rest of it is really easy. You can see when you press the release button, the eject button. So on the opposite side, I'm just releasing it and it's catching. Once I've got that, I just want to keep a thumb on it and get my 2 screws into the back of the eject button just to secure them in place. All seems to be quite secure now. Pop it over, make sure all your buttons feel okay. Obviously your reset button's not going to, because you don't have the opposite pressure of the reset which is inside the disk drive. Pop that over to the side. Bring back the base of the PlayStation. Pop this straight on over the top. It's all lined up nicely. Make sure it's upside down, and then your final step is to put in your 6 screws. 1. 2. 3. we go. I fully stripped down, cleaned and rebuilt PlayStation 1. Next step is just to make sure that everything is working as it should. Wish me luck. And there we have it, a fully functioning PlayStation 1. I'm so glad it's working because, like I said in my first video, when I bought it I never tested it to make sure it was working. So I'm glad that it's all worked out. It's playing the games, it's got colour. I don't have a controller in it yet because I've stripped out my controller to get fixed. So that will be part of the next series of videos. Thanks for watching. Grey Gamer signing out.